One Question is designed to give subscribers valuable insights on how executive leaders in college athletics think about key issues on their respective campuses, in their departments, or within their leagues and conferences.
Greetings, this is Ty Brown and welcome to One Question. I'm here at the 2018 NCAA Convention. I'm joined by Tim Duncan. Tim is the Director of Athletics at Clayton State University. Greetings, Tim. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me, Ty. I appreciate the opportunity.
Now, Tim, you've been the Director of Athletics there for 3.5 years, and from what I know about you, professional development is something that's important to you for your staff and also for your student athletes. Can you tell us how you emphasize professional development in your leadership role there at Clayton State?
Yeah, obviously it starts with our student athletes. This second year we've had a leadership academy, and we started with our team captains from every sport, and we do a retreat. And in that retreat this year we brought in a guest speaker to come and take us through habitudes, so Tim Elmore's group. It was awesome, man. And then every other month from there we meet to come back together and see what they've learned on their journey throughout the year. So it's been really eye-opening for me. But it's been great. So it starts with our student athletes, and then we have our young professionals. Because we're Division II, we employ a lot of graduate assistants. So once every other month, I meet with the graduate assistants and do something similar. We had Will Baggett come through and discuss you guys' book with our graduate assistants. They loved it. They asked him tons of questions. And then we meet and talk about different issues that are prevalent in college athletics. And then finally, for our full-time staff, we have an annual retreat. And then I encourage them to join all their professional development associations and try to put a little bit of money for them to go to at least one conference per year. So professional development, I think, is key. It's helped me tremendously, and I want to embrace that at every level of Clayton State.
And of course, you mentioned Will Baggett in terms of, he has a presentation on executive conduct. Is that something that it's hard to practice throughout the year? But if you were to start that as a student athlete, and then if you become a graduate assistant, and then if you become a full-time staff, you'd probably be well-versed in those things. Do you see a lot of your former athletes coming on as graduate assistants and then potentially getting hired as full-time staff with you?
We would like so. We have a few that are graduate assistant coaches right now. We haven't had any of the administration. We just have our first group of graduate assistants on administration that are about to complete this May. So we'll see what happens after that. But Will's presentation was awesome. We have a presentation every month on a different topic that our student athletes select, and his was rated our highest last year. So that executive professional image was critical for them to get at a young age so they can start to become familiar with it and use that on a daily basis moving forward.
And I guess the ultimate testimony of if your program works is if you end up hiring one of your former student athletes in a full-time role, right?
I think that's one measure. One measure is if they end up hiring me down the road.
Yeah, exactly. Right. You want to get it right so they can give you a job, right?
Absolutely. That'd be actually bringing it full circle if they're able to hire me or anyone on our current staff, because you know how small this industry is, and that would be the ultimate measure of success for me.
Right. Well, one of the other things I know about you is that you do an event, and your passion for professional development is not limited to your own student athletes, full-time staff, or graduate assistants. Tell us a little bit about this event and what people get from it there.
So, yeah, Emerging Administrators Academy, or Emerging AD for short, is a passion of mine that's going into the 6th year now. And you probably know, but my foray into college athletics is non-traditional. I worked in 2 capacities in sports marketing for Russell Athletic and then for R.J. Reynolds Tobacco Company on the Winston brand for NASCAR Winston Cup prior to even coming into college athletics. So after owning an event marketing company, I started in college athletics and didn't know the first thing about it. I didn't know there was an external versus internal. I didn't know the path that it created. So after I started and worked in it a few years, I wanted to initially reach out to help folks who are outside of college athletics find a way in and come in more knowledgeable. But after their very first year, we learned that there were a bunch of people who are currently working in college athletics who can't figure out their career paths and steps to take so they can become whatever they want to be, whether that's an SWA, Director of Athletics, VP of Student Affairs, or whatever. So I asked some friends to join us, and those friends have been very loyal every year to come and give back to the industry because it's all our passion project. So, professional development is extremely important. It's a small group. Again, we like to keep it between 50 and 75 attendees so they can have that personal interaction and start to cultivate some of those relationships. So far it's been successful. We had recently our first attendee become a director of athletics, Jessie Rosa. She's the director of athletics at Auburn Montgomery. So that is a level of success and pride that we take in. We hope to see more reach their goals as well.
Right, that's excellent. And at 50 to 75, you're almost talking about exclusivity in terms of intimate size of an academy or type event where people are learning and walking away with tangible items that they can use to apply in their career.
Right, we try to keep it to a 3-to-1 ratio from attendees to instructors, again, so they can make a contact and hopefully follow up. And we try to tell them that it doesn't end there. That's just the start of the relationship, but they have to work at it over the next months and years so they can start to be a part of their circle, and hopefully they can start to profit from that.
Well, this is great. Tell us again when that happens every year.
So it's always in July every year. This year will be the first time we're taking it on the road. The second. One year we went to Wisconsin, but this year we're going to New York. So it's July 13th through 15th. It'll be at Queens College. China actually got it done before she left. So we'll be on her campus. It's a professional development that she wanted for her staff. And then we'll invite folks from that area or folk around the country who want to come and participate as well. So it'll be the first time that we're taking our main show on the road and won't be in our home area of Atlanta. But I'm super, super excited to get to the Northeast and invite some friends from that part of the country as instructors, like hopefully maybe an Anton Goff or Mark Benson at Albany, and a ton of folk in that area who can come and weigh in on what we're trying to do with professional development.
Well, this is excellent. I think a lot of people will gain a lot of value from the emerging leaders, and really it's probably a benefit for someone to actually work on your staff, because for a leader who emphasizes that, knows that at some point the people that work for him or her will potentially go off and become leaders themselves.
I hope so. We've always invited our staff at Clayton State to come in at complimentary, so they can just soak up some of those relationships and some of the lessons that they've learned. And quite a few of them have taken advantage of that. And we want them to know that we, in this profession, in every profession, but particularly this one, we want to get better. We challenge our student athletes to get better by practicing harder, lifting weights, getting in condition. What are we doing to get better? So professional development is one way for us to continue to work on our games.
Exactly. Well, I appreciate you joining us here on One Question.
Thank you for having me, Ty. I appreciate the work that you've done.
Thank you. That was Tim Duncan at Clayton State. And one of the things Tim mentioned, I like to call it putting it back in the bucket. It's where you take from the bucket to learn and get to where you are, but then you turn around and fill the bucket back up by giving to others to help them become leaders in themselves. And of course, this fits into the overall theory that the role of a leader is to create and maintain an environment that people want to be a part of. And as always, be better tomorrow than you are today. This episode of One Question is produced by Spades Media Group, solving problems using creative leadership.